Have you ever stopped to consider that you might not have actually thought anything in your entire life? It sounds crazy, doesn't it? We go through our days believing we're constantly thinking, processing information, and making decisions. But what if I told you that this idea of thinking is just an illusion? That's the fascinating concept we're going to explore in this video. Let's start by examining what we typically believe thinking is. Most of us assume that our minds are always active, generating a constant stream of thoughts, ideas, and internal dialogue. We wake up in the morning, and our mind starts racing with plans for the day. We solve problems at work by thinking them through. We mull over conversations, replay memories, and imagine future scenarios. All of this mental activity seems so real and personal to us. We identify strongly with our thoughts, often believing that they define who we are. But here's where things get interesting. What if all of this mental chatter isn't actually for thinking at all? What if it's just a series of automatic responses, conditioned patterns, and recycled information that we've picked up throughout our lives? To understand this better, we need to step back and look at the bigger picture of consciousness and awareness. Consider for a moment, who or what is aware of your thoughts? When you have a thought, there's a part of you that notices it. This noticing, this awareness, is different from the thought itself. It's like a silent observer, always present, watching the parade of thoughts as they come and go. This observer doesn't judge, doesn't analyze, and doesn't try to change anything. It simply watches. Now, here's a crucial question: are you the thinker of your thoughts, or are you the one who's aware of the thoughts? Most of us automatically assume we're the thinker. After all, these thoughts feel like they're coming from us, don't they? But what if we're actually the awareness behind the thoughts? What if we're not generating these thoughts at all, but merely receiving them? This might sound strange at first, but let's dig deeper. Think about where your thoughts come from. Do you consciously decide to have each thought before it appears in your mind? Or do thoughts simply pop up, often seemingly out of nowhere? When you try to trace the origin of a thought, you might find that it's impossible to pinpoint exactly where it came from or why it appeared at that particular moment. It's as if our minds are like radios, picking up signals from the environment around us. We don't create the radio waves, we just receive them. In the same way, what if our thoughts are not something we're actively producing, but rather something we're tuning into? This perspective challenges our fundamental understanding of what it means to think. If we're not actually generating our thoughts, then in a sense, we've never really thought anything at all. We've simply been aware of thoughts as they pass through our consciousness. Now, you might be wondering, if we're not thinking, then what are we doing? The answer lies in the spaces between thoughts. Have you ever noticed moments of mental silence, where your mind becomes completely still? These gaps, however brief, offer a glimpse into a different state of being, one of pure awareness. In these moments of stillness, we're not actively thinking, yet we're fully conscious and alert. We're simply present, aware of our surroundings and our inner state without any mental commentary. This state of awareness without thought is our natural condition, but it's often obscured by the constant stream of mental activity we've become accustomed to. The practice of mindfulness can help us become more aware of these gaps and even extend them. By learning to observe our thoughts without getting caught up in them, we can start to see the distinction between our true self, the awareness, and the thoughts that pass through our mind. As we develop this skill, we might start to notice some interesting changes. The constant mental chatter that we've always taken for granted begins to quiet down. We find moments of peace and clarity that we didn't know were possible. And perhaps most importantly, we start to realize that we're not our thoughts. This realization can be incredibly liberating. If we're not our thoughts, then we're not limited by them. We're not defined by our past experiences, our worries about the future, or our self-imposed limitations. We're something much vaster and more profound. We're the awareness itself. Living from this place of awareness rather than constant thinking can have profound effects on our lives. For one, it allows us to be more present in each moment. Instead of being lost in thoughts about the past or future, we're fully engaged with what's happening right now. This presence can enhance our relationships, our work, and our overall enjoyment of life. When we're not caught up in our thoughts, we're more able to listen deeply to others, to notice the beauty around us, and to respond creatively to challenges as they arise. Moreover, this shift in perspective can lead to a profound sense of peace. Much of our stress and anxiety comes from our thoughts, worrying about the future, regretting the past, or judging ourselves and others. When we realize that these thoughts aren't us and don't define us, we can let them go more easily. But how do we actually put this into practice? How can we start to experience this state of thoughtless awareness in our daily lives? Here are some practical steps you can try. First, start by simply noticing your thoughts. Throughout the day, take moments to pause and observe what's going on in your mind. Don't try to change or stop your thoughts, just watch them. Notice how they come and go, like clouds passing through the sky. Next, pay attention to the spaces between thoughts. These might be very brief at first, but as you practice, you might find that they become longer and more noticeable. In these spaces, simply rest in the awareness that's always there. Another helpful practice is to focus on your senses. When you find yourself caught up in thoughts, bring your attention to what you can see, hear, feel, smell, or taste in the present moment. This can help anchor you in the here and now, rather than in your thoughts. You can also experiment with asking yourself, what will my next thought be? Then wait and watch. You might find that this creates a gap in your thinking, allowing you to experience that pure awareness more directly. Remember, the goal isn't to stop thinking entirely. Thoughts serve a purpose and can be useful tools. The aim is to recognize that you're not your thoughts, and to be able to use them when they're helpful and let them go when they are not. As you explore this new way of being, you might start to notice changes in how you perceive yourself and the world around you. You might find that you're less reactive, more patient, and more understanding of others. You might discover a sense of inner peace that doesn't depend on external circumstances. This shift in perspective also invites us to reconsider our understanding of intelligence. Traditionally, we've equated intelligence with the ability to think quickly and solve problems. But what if true intelligence is actually our capacity for awareness? What if it's our ability to be present, to see clearly, and to respond wisely to each moment as it unfolds? From this viewpoint, intelligence isn't about accumulating knowledge or having lots of thoughts. It's about having a clear, open mind that can perceive reality as it is, without distortion from our conditioned thought patterns. This doesn't mean that knowledge and analytical skills aren't valuable. They certainly have their place. But perhaps they're most useful when they're tools in service of our awareness, rather than the core of our identity. As we continue to explore this idea that we've never actually thought anything, we might start to see its implications in all areas of our lives. We might notice how much of our behavior is automatic, driven by conditioned responses rather than conscious choice. We might become aware of how our perception of reality is colored by our thoughts and beliefs. This awareness can be the starting point for profound change. When we're no longer identified with our thoughts, we have the freedom to choose how we respond to life. We can break free from limiting beliefs and habitual patterns that no longer serve us. We might also start to question other aspects of our reality. If our thoughts aren't really ours, what else might we be mistaken about? This inquiry can lead us to explore deeper questions about the nature of consciousness, reality, and our place in the universe. It's important to note that this perspective doesn't negate the value of our human experience. Our thoughts, emotions, and experiences are all part of the rich tapestry of life. The key is to recognize them for what they are, temporary phenomena passing through our awareness, rather than mistaking them for our true identity. As we wrap up this exploration, I invite you to sit with this idea for a moment. Consider the possibility that you've never actually thought anything. That you are, in fact, the awareness behind the thoughts. How does this change your perception of yourself? How might it change the way you live your life? Remember, this isn't about achieving some perfect state of thoughtlessness. It's about recognizing your true nature as awareness and living from that place of clarity and peace. It's a lifelong journey of discovery with endless depths to explore. So the next time you find yourself caught up in a whirlwind of thoughts, take a moment to pause. Remember that you are not those thoughts. You are the vast, open awareness in which those thoughts appear. And in that remembering, you might just find a freedom and peace you never knew was possible. This perspective offers a radical shift in how we understand ourselves and our place in the world. It challenges our most basic assumptions about who we are and how we operate. But in doing so, it also offers the potential for profound liberation and transformation. By recognizing that we've never actually thought anything, we open ourselves to a new way of being. We step out of the limited confines of our mental chatter and into the boundless expanse of pure awareness. From this place, we can engage with life more fully, more authentically, and with greater wisdom and compassion. This journey of self-discovery is ongoing. Each moment offers a new opportunity to wake up from the dream of thought and recognize our true nature as awareness. It's a path that requires patience, curiosity, and a willingness to question everything we think we know. As you continue on this path, be gentle with yourself. Remember that years of conditioning have taught us to identify with our thoughts. It takes time and practice to shift this deeply ingrained habit. Celebrate the moments of clarity when they come, and don't be discouraged by the times when you get caught up in thinking. It's all part of the process. You might find it helpful to seek out teachings and practices that support this understanding. Many wisdom traditions, both ancient and modern, point to this same truth, that our essential nature is awareness, not thought. Exploring these teachings can provide valuable insights and practical tools for living from this place of awareness. It's also important to remember that this understanding isn't meant to be just an intellectual concept. It's something to be lived, to be experienced directly in your own life. So while it's valuable to learn about these ideas, the real magic happens when you start to apply them in your day-to-day experiences. Notice how this perspective changes your interactions with others. When you're not caught up in your own thoughts, you might find that you're able to listen more deeply, to empathize more fully, and to respond more wisely. You might discover a new depth in your relationships as you connect from a place of presence rather than mental chatter. Observe how it affects your work and creative endeavors. Many great insights and innovations have come from moments of mental stillness, when the usual stream of thought subsides and something new can emerge. By cultivating this state of aware presence, you might tap into new levels of creativity and problem-solving ability. Pay attention to how it influences your emotional well-being. Much of our emotional suffering comes from getting caught up in thoughts about the past or future, or in judgments about ourselves and others. As you learn to disidentify from these thoughts, you might find a new emotional stability and resilience. This understanding can also profoundly affect our relationship with the world around us. When we're not lost in thought, we're more able to perceive the beauty and wonder of life. We might find ourselves moved by the simplest things, the play of light on leaves, the sound of rain, the smile of a stranger. This heightened appreciation can lead to a deeper sense of connection with all of life. As we conclude this exploration, I encourage you to keep this question alive in your awareness. Have you ever really thought anything? Let it be a doorway to a deeper investigation of your own nature. Let it remind you, again and again, to wake up from the dream of thought and recognize the aware presence that you truly are. Remember, this isn't about reaching some final destination or achieving some perfect state. It's about continually waking up to the truth of who you are in each moment. It's about living from that place of aware presence more and more of the time. So as you go about your day, carry this understanding with you. When you notice yourself getting caught up in thoughts, gently remind yourself, these are just thoughts passing through. I am the awareness in which they appear. Let this recognition be a doorway to presence, to peace, to a fuller experience of life. You might be surprised at how this simple shift in perspective can transform your entire experience of life. It has the potential to free you from long-standing patterns of stress, anxiety, and suffering. It can open you to new levels of creativity, insight, and connection. And most profoundly, it can reveal to you the deep peace and boundless freedom that is your true nature. So I invite you to explore this for yourself. Don't take my word for it, investigate your own experience. Question your assumptions about who you are and what thinking is. Be curious about the nature of your own consciousness. As you do this, you might find that life becomes less of a struggle and more of an adventure. You might discover a sense of ease and flow that you never knew was possible. You might uncover depths of wisdom, love, and creativity within yourself that you never imagined. And who knows? You might just find that in realizing you've never thought anything, you've stumbled upon the most profound truth of your existence. You've discovered your true nature as the aware presence in which all of life unfolds. So here's to the journey of self-discovery. Here's to waking up from the dream of thought and recognizing the vast, open awareness that you truly are. May this understanding bring you peace, freedom, and a deeper appreciation for the miracle of existence. And remember, every moment is a new opportunity to wake up, to let go of the illusion of thought, and to rest in the aware presence that you are. In this recognition lies the potential for true transformation, not just for ourselves, but for our world. So as we end this video, I invite you to take a moment right now. Take a deep breath and notice the awareness that's here reading these words. Notice the space in which your thoughts and sensations are appearing. This awareness, this presence, this is who you truly are. And in recognizing this, you open the door to a whole new way of being in the world. Thank you for joining me on this exploration. May it serve as a catalyst for your own journey of self-discovery and awakening. Remember, you've never thought anything, and in that realization lies your freedom.